Good evening, it's 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Little cup of constant comment tea to keep my throat kind of lubricated. The other day, I was my wife and I will try to get the grammar straight, were moseying around Lowe's Home Improvement, and we saw, once I get screen share set up here, okay, they changed something again. There it is. We saw this little lantern there, and I thought it was kind of cute, but I thought I could also probably make it with some less metal. So I came home and sat down at my little computer here and started working on an idea. This is the result, and it's not too bad. I had to redo it a couple of times. First time I had it way too long. So I'm going to tear this thing apart and show you how. Turn screen share off so I can look at you. There. Tear it apart and show you how to make on-the-fly design changes before you bother cutting material or making a model, a mock-up or whatever. Norm Abram was big on mock-ups. Back in the old pen and pencil days, you had to be big on mock-ups because there was no other way to get it done. With SketchUp, there was a much better way to get it done. So, back to screen share. And it won't work until you hit the button. On my outliner, you can see many components here. I'm going to get rid of the entire top assembly, which actually I probably should make as an assembly. There. Then slide over here, mouse button 3, and select hide. I started out by thinking, gee, this would be really nice if we had real nice miter joints here. That's what the one in the store had. And that's true, they're pretty, if you can keep them square and straight and everything. I'll also show on this, I'm going to undo some of the changes on here and show how I came up with this. But first, I'm just going to create the component that I started with here. And I'm not going to create it to scale. I'm just going to create it out here in space. I went to rectangle. My hotkey is R. I'm going to go to the protractor, and I'm going to put in a 45-degree guideline here. Or maybe 40. Come on, maybe 45. There. My hot button key for line is L. Get rid of that. Double mouse button 1, Shift, C, and I'll have a component. Now, activate that component, and I will just extrude it up, because this is not geometrically sound or anything. This is just something to get something done here. Now I'm going to take this component, and I'm going to rotate it and spin it around. You could do scale, invert. There's a lot of ways to get this process done. You'll notice that my icon has a little plus on it. That's because I hit the Control key. Now I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise. If I can get it to highlight down here. Yep. Wait, didn't want to copy. There's 90. Now, select the move button, grab my point, bring it up here, and somehow something's not 45 degrees. Don't know why. Thought it was. Okay, so let me move this. In fact, let me just undo several times. Let's try it again. Okay, that says 45. We'll do this process all over again. Create it. Line. Get rid of this. Get rid of the guideline. Grab it all in. That's another way to get everything here, rather than use the mouse button, and you can use mouse and drag. Shift C, create. Make that active by double mouse click. Extrude it up again. Now, rotate that 90 degrees that way. Wrong one. It keeps deselecting what I want. $180. It's still selected. Grab it and move it up. That's 45 degrees now. What it was before. Not very occasionally, but quite often you have to watch your cues because it will pick something up that you can't even see, and you'll be looking down where it says measurements. It'll say 45. When you hit the button, it changes, and it looked like it went 47.5 or 42.5 or something. Now, this is what I started with, as you can see back over here. But all of a sudden I thought, that's a lot of cutting. Is there a better way to do this? And actually there is. What I'm going to do is use this same geometry here. I'm not going to change it over here. I'm just going to use this. I'm going to go into my line function. I'm going to select all this geometry. And it doesn't remember to change, so you have to keep holding the start point of your line every time. Now, let's see if it's got, let's give both of those, hide them. We have a face. Double mouse button, Shift C for a new component, create it, make it active, push pull it out. That can be done with two extra cuts on a table saw, or it can be done on a router. I don't know of any other tools it can be done with because I don't have any other fancier ones. So that is just a real fast way. If you like the way it looks but think this is too much work, you can change it quite readily. Now, this feature right here, I was trying to figure out how to retain glass in this. And I really didn't come up with a good way other than taking these, taking this component, and then I'll show you what I did on a separate view here. Activate this component, extrude it up, and then now I want my little glass retaining feature, so I grab this surface and I go into offset. At any place on the outside, 0.1. I don't know how thick glass is. I can change it when I find out what the thickness is. So I've got that active. Pull it up 1/4 of an inch. I have a glass retaining feature there. Yes, it will still slop around inside here, but that's, you can put some pegs or something in here to keep it from rattling. There are other ways to do this. Now let's go in back into the top, unhide. There we are on top. I did the same thing with this feature, with this component right here. Hide that. Now, I may ultimately decide I don't like this, because there's a lot of material that I've got to cut off here to get that in there. So what I could do at this point is make this component active, make this face a group. You can see the group down here. I will hold it down, and just like any Windows function, probably Macs do it too. I'm not rich enough to have a Mac. Just drag that out so it's on its own. Now I can convert this to a component. Let's go in, and this top component that I had, let's hide that. I can make this one active, and I can extrude this up 0.25 or whatever I want it, and have that as a separate piece that is either brad nailed or brass screwed or however to that piece right there. On-the-fly changes are really nice with this. This is one that I will have to do an on-the-fly change, probably, because, well, let's hide some things here. Let's get rid of, let's hide this. Let's hide this. There's an awful lot of wasted space and internal construction here. This one I might actually make as miters. I don't know. See, that's the point. If you're really not sure where you're going, do it as a bulk component, or do it whatever you think is best first, and then sit and look at it and think, that doesn't look as good as I was hoping. So in here, we can go in and add some lines from here to here, and from here to here, and do it over here again, and do it on the top. Now you can see I have separate faces under here that I can use. So I can select this one, this one, this one, and wiggle around here so I can see which one I got. This one, I can make this one a group again. Shift G is my hotkey. Slide it, drag it out. Whoops, don't want that one. Control Z. That was a section plane, wasn't going to do us any good. And we'll hide this component 3. And obviously I didn't get everything that I wanted. So we will Control Z, 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 Z. Let's go make some more lines. This one to here, from here to here, from here to here. There. What I did is I made a little window drag to make sure I get all of those things in there. Make sure the interface is in there. All right. Shift G for group. Now we have a good group. Now I'll drag it out. And hide this 3. And you can see I have some open faces here. I knew that was going to happen because it was taking it from a solid. Just go into your line function, L, line from there to there, didn't like it. Let's make one across the bottom and see if we can close it off. Oh, it's being ugly. Why are you doing that? It's cleaner. Let's try the other end. Why it's doing that is, you'll notice over here in my outliner, that component is not active. I'm going to hide this thing because I got lines on my main workspace that I don't want. See, it created the lines, it just didn't know what to do with them. Right mouse button, unhide. Make that work. Now let's see if we can do this. These kind of errors are very simple, and it's not grabbing. That time it was highlighted and it just didn't take it. So here we go again, line. This time it should close. And we can go over here and close this one out. I can change that group, right mouse button, open that up, make component. Now, if I want, I can rotate this around. There, it's rotated. 40, hold on for a second, guys. It's rotated, but you can see the point I picked was not in the center of my geometry. It was just in space someplace. But to get it to made up, just grab one and select move, grab the dummy. Make sure you put where you want it. Okay, let's do it this way. Grab this one to there. Space bar, this one. Move that one. This one. From there to there. And you get kind of the same effect. Now I'm going to hide all of these. Oh, that's interesting. When I rotated it, changed numbers, changed names. That I didn't expect at all. No, it didn't. That was where I was. Okay. When I highlighted one, I didn't look at where it was going. Okay, let's bring back in some of the top again. I'm looking for my third one. Now, this, you can see, is not going to work very well. What I have done is I use this top piece, which I will glue or screw with nice pretty brass screws here onto this top assembly. To be able to install this and get it out, put it back in, I needed a keyhole here. But you can see that my key shaft is the same width as my keyhole. So this will not turn. I can stick it straight in, but I can't make a change. So either on this component which I think I'll just add some color to. Color often helps. My key for color is Alt-B for paint bucket. Adding color is a great way to define and find out what you're doing. Let's make this one, let's make it a schmurple. That's close enough. There. Now you can see this is either going to have to be, this is going to have to be around, or this is going to have to be rounded. So one of those two features I would have to do before I assemble this. And I don't know which one I'm going to do yet, so I'm not going to do it. But either one, there's a function called, or a plugin called Lathe, or Quick Lathe, or something like that on woodworlds.com that will cut a groove in there real nice. I would probably just put a hole, a round hole, in this first. Let's see if we can get a hole in here. In fact, let's go outside of this, turn off the color, all the way outside, so this is not active. I'm going to put a line from this corner to this corner in my workspace. That way it doesn't mess with this feature here. Now that is now active because it's blue over here. Now I'll go ahead and put a circle in there. It's on the midpoint outside the axis. 0.375. It covered it up, but that's okay. I'm going to grab some of this stuff and hide it. Yeah, grab too much. I want to find it back. There. Now see, it covered part of it up, but it didn't cover it all up. So let's go ahead and make this bottom solid also. In here, we want to get rid of some lines. We want to get rid of this one, this one, this one, and this one. And now we want to take that geometry and push it through. Yeah, right, doesn't want to do it. There. Now we have a keyhole here. So I'm going to, since I can't remember what the hanger was, unhide that, unhide this, unhide these three. Now we have the ability to rotate the shaft around inside of this hole. Turn the screen share off for a while I think about what else I might want to do. And I think I might want to go into this and probably change it. I'm waiting for my computer to work. There. Those of you who watch this in live stream, please go on to YouTube and like this. I just checked my analytics. There's been 22 views on the last post I made. Not one like, not one dislike. I don't know if you're liking them or not. And comment on them so that I have an idea of where I'm missing the boat, what I can do better, what you like, so I can amplify on that. But with no feedback, I'm kind of flying in the dark here. And I like teaching, but I kind of need to know if I'm hitting any good spots for you. If I'm just wasting my time, I got better things to do. I don't have to post these on Google Plus. I can just go into YouTube and not worry about this thing. Earlier today, I was asked to help a gentleman with a fast, down and dirty box joint fixture. Fortunately, he had a dado set, because I was trying to do it the way I do it, which is one saw blade cut at a time. That's a lot more difficult. I think I could even do it with this. He didn't want to have a full sled. So I started out with a partial sled, and I thought, this area over in here doesn't do anything but support the workout here. Why have it all tied together? If you're going to do a common crosscut with a miter gauge, the miter gauge doesn't, well, the normal ones don't run from one side of the saw to the other. They're little things. And so I came up with that same idea. Using particle board, which I wouldn't use, but Baltic birch would be a nice one. Just cut a little piece out here, cut another piece, it just sits on the table. This area can either be a machined part in wood, or if you got aluminum track, it'd work too. As far as I'm concerned, you can screw it to your miter gauge. That's about as square as you're going to get. And all it does is just slide back and forth in here. You don't want to cut 10, 12 inches of this. You want to cut something as thick as your saw blade. As well as deep as the saw blade needs to go to make a full cut there, technically. This part right here represents the saw blade cut for the dado cut. Obviously they're round, but when you run it through there, you end up with a rectangle. That's what I started out with. This little piece is the stop. I'm going to blank out or hide both of the upper, the material I'm cutting. This, I may not have made my cut through, I'm not sure. Let's find out. I didn't. But there will be a saw blade cut right here. In fact, let's put the saw blade back in. Unhide. And let's move this, since I have saw blade interference here. Since I don't have this as a big assembly, just a whole bunch of loose parts, I can grab this thing and just move it along an axis so it clears. Now, another feature that's nice on this is I can go ahead and create another face by guess and by golly on my component here. In fact, let's try it, because that might be the best way to do it. Actually, in this case, it was. Sometimes that doesn't work. I will show you the other way I was going to do it when I didn't expect this was going to work. There. Let's unhide that group. There, we have a nice saw cut in there. Control Z, 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 Z. Get the whole thing active. This is a way to do it that I don't like because it's more cumbersome. I'm glad that way actually worked to show you the best way to do it. If you intersect faces, selecting this and this with a control key down so you get both of them. With model, and I'll hide this, this, and this. You can see that, yes, I have a rectangle here but it doesn't do anything for my part. I still have to go back and create that face with a rectangle tool. Let's see if it remembers how far I put it. It did. But now, you got a whole bunch of extra lines you don't need, and that's one problem with intersect face. Now, what we did here, ain't no we, I did it myself. I'm going to hide this one because my original cut was trying to figure out where to actually place this stop the second time. So I figured the first cut is going to be an eyeball cut to be to the edge of the dado. If you don't quite get it, you slide it over a little bit farther and then make that cut. Now, to make sure I had it in the right spot, I'll hide this component 5 and unhide this component 5, and there I can pick my part up, or don't even have to pick it up. Once you pull it back from the blade, you slide the thing over until it hits a stop, clamp it back down, run it back through. One thing that I really think this needs is a gusset over here, so I'm going to create one. I'm going to go into rectangle. No, I can't, because that's not on the same plane. I'm going to go into a little rectangle on this face. And you can see it's trying to grab everything except that edge. I will move this up to my corner. And I'm going to move it inboard somewhat. Now I'm going to make this a component. It's already highlighted, Shift-C. Always make sure that this replace selection with component is toggled on, or you will have grief. Trust me. Now I'm going to work on component 7 again. I'm going to make this, give this some thickness. And I'll make a 1/2 inch. And I'll pull this down to there. Too far down. There. And now I can go into this, but I really don't care what the gusset size has. Actually, yes, I do. Here's an on-the-fly design change. I was going to make this, in fact, I'll put the line in, and then tell you why I don't want it. I was just going to put an arbitrary line kind of from there to there. I'm not in the component, so it didn't do anything. But I'm looking at this thing, I'm thinking, well, there's something else I could do here. It might be real good. Make this component active again. I've grabbed that circle, and I'm going to pull it down somewhat. Now I'm going to put some lines in here, hopefully if I'm in tangent. That one didn't want to. I'm going to erase those two. That will make me a handle here for a push stick. Go that way. There. Now I've got something that can give a little bit more lateral and vertical stability. On the fly design change. I hadn't intended on doing that with this one, but it just hit me. Over here, you guys might be uncomfortable with this. I would take it, probably make it bigger, just a hunk of stock, and clamp it to the table. Because obviously it's just a little bitty saw table, but so that is, in fact, I'm going to save that and repost it on Facebook to my friend Gerald. Went a little over half an hour. I covered some ground here. I will turn screen share off. Thank you for watching, whoever will and whoever has. It says I have one viewer, but I don't know who. We can find out. Oh. In fact, that one viewer may be woodworlds.com. It's being broadcast or streamed live on it. And I like Woodworlds, but it doesn't do me personally any good unless you go to YouTube and like it, or go to Google Plus and give me a plus on it, so that I know what's happening, because I don't get any comments from Woodworld at all. Very frustrating. So, I had another idea for a class that I was going to present later. Now I'm trying to remember what it was. These white hairs affect your memory. Trust me. Out in my shop, I have created a shoebox storage rack. I have created a cart for just dragging boxes and stuff around. And tomorrow, I'm going to finish my wood cart. I've got some really big casters. They're like 6 inches heavy. My wood shop basically is full, and I have to do most of my work outside, and I'm on sand. I'm in Florida. Things sink. So I'm hoping to be able to have that so I can roll it around. I will probably work on that tomorrow morning and on the model. I might tonight, but I'm not sure. I'm enjoying woodworking. I like wood, and I never did when I was a kid. I've got two planes that I reworked and make them work. I've been watching Paul Sellers on YouTube. He's a Brit. He puts stuff at the idiot level. He does a lot of fancy things too, but he puts stuff at the idiot level. He kind of debunked sharpening planes, hand plane. Okay, I want the right term for the blade, and I can't remember what it is. Iron. Plain irons. I've seen people sharpen them to 8,000 on a diamond grit thing. He says, you sharpen them you get too much of a glazed finish on that wood, your glue doesn't hold. You got to go back and rough it up. His contention is 250 done right is perfect, and he showed it. Today I was watching one, and he talking about bench height, and I actually think after listening to him, my bench height is 1 inch too high. He's 5'11" and has a 38-inch bench height. He was debunking the theory that on planes you have to bend down and shove hard and push them, be manly, Tim the Tool Man. He took a piece of electrical cable, heavy duty. I think it was electrical cable. I really couldn't see what it was. It was flexible. Clamped his piece of pine in a face clamp. Laid a Bailey, not a bedrock, just a plain, out-of-the-box, old Bailey number 4 plane, sharpened properly, on the edge of this 1x6 or whatever it was. He leveled it out so that gravity wasn't helping or hurting one way or the other, wrapped his puller around it, and pulled straight toward him along this thing. And after about this far, it started cutting in and made a beautiful shaving. Then he went on, he had a Bailey 4 and a Bailey 4.5. I don't know what the difference is. And so he changed the board angle this way, he changed the board angle this way, and with his little puller, not using any arm strength at all, no weight, just the weight of the plane and the bite of the tool, oh, what did he? I think he calls it pulling itself into the task. And that really makes sense because you get this angle of your tool, and once it digs in, it will go until the sole is flat. So it's pulling itself to the task. Wonderful, wonderful analogy. Good word picture. And then he took it with just 2 fingers and just pushed it straight. I think he might have done that after he turned it on its side, or yeah, side edge. Okay, flat, big surface. And he did a little thing with the pull, and it bit in, and then he just took 2 fingers and pushed it. He said, you don't need much force if it's sharpened right. If your tool is the right condition and sharpened properly and set up properly, it's not a battle. Do it easy. Don't force it. Good guy. He went through an actual apprenticeship. I did too, but mine was in metal. But you can see that I'm not that old to be an apprentice in the United States. I broke the law. I went out with my dad where he was working when I was a little kid. I could weld when I was 6. Would OSHA have a hemorrhage on that? Yeah. They're dumb. I learned a lot. Learned how to run a lathe, drill press, many things at the hip of my father. When I was 9, I think, it was a summer. I don't know if it was a summer after a major storm or if it was in October. We had a tremendous storm in my hometown. Covered the whole hometown. I mean, it was a big one. And it blew our antenna, our TV antenna down. So he brought home an oxyacetylene torch from work. So if it was in 58, I was 8. If it was the following spring, I would have been 9. But I think I was 8. And I was wearing high top, like ankle-high shoes, but they were unlaced. And he asked if I wanted to try it. He showed me how to do it. I said, yeah. But I was gung-ho. And I grabbed a hold of it. And I was doing pretty good, and I got a little too fast, and it bubbled and landed in my shoe. That stuff's hot. He expected me to throw the torch down, but I didn't. I got an attaboy from him. I kept the torch in one hand and kicked my shoe off. So it's fun. It's fun getting an attaboy from your dad. I guess enough about personal with me. That was completely off topic, but I might end up recording the model and the build, if I can figure out how to get it back online, of this lumber cart tomorrow. We have old VHS cameras, or they record on tape. They're not direct to digital. And I'm not sure how to get analog signal to my computer. It might work. I may have to buy a piece of equipment first, though. But I'll get it done. In fact, I think I will have my wife record that tomorrow, off and on. It'll be fun. So hang loose. Keep an eye out for that video to appear. Oh, I don't know what fell. Try to get it so it's not. These are the lights I'm going to use inside that lantern. $10, you can see right there. $10 from Big Lots. Bunch of them with batteries. It'll be fun. Now I got to figure out where to get glass from. Thanks for watching. Please like my. I don't know what dropped my wrist rest. Please like the videos. It will help my standing in YouTube. And if you view them in YouTube, eventually I might make a penny. 1 penny for some likes. Please, thank you.